Closed.
I love that the close sign just obscures my entire face. What the fuck? How far back are these delayed?
I'm leaving.
That's Mal's one. Oh no, that's Mal's. That's me doing Mal's one. Ah. If it's only up to use desktop player, I'll certainly donate it to me. I'll take 15% of the cards instead of mobile's 30%. I mean, if Mal takes 15% of it, then I still end up getting more, which is really weird. Might be something I try on the next big occasion. I'm a bit broke right now since I did buy my PC. I've already paid back half of it at least. Oh yeah, don't worry about it. I'm not saying that you have to do it. So if you do feel inclined later on, there you go. What the bollocks is that?
I'm leaving.
Okay, it's actually not even. What the fuck game? Seriously, OBS, I preemptively did this on you. Excuse me. Okay. Just gonna do this, and this, and then this, and then... There we go. Ghost woo. With darkness, blackness, the void. Put like a popcorn in front of chat. Bless you. Thank you. I don't know where that actually came from.
Good evening, Mr. Bully.
We know each other?
No, however, I have some information that may be of interest to you.
Talk, my friend. A pint for you if what you say is worth something. Does it have to do with the Whitechapel murders?
Indeed, I know the identity of the man who wrote a letter to the police, a letter entitled Dear Boss, in which the author claims to be the Whitechapel murderer and is signed Jack the Ripper.
What?
It's a journalist who was inspired by Spring-Heeled Jack in order to strengthen the credibility and the seriousness of his agency. This new Jack will give him some first-hand information that he, in turn, will dole out sparingly to the authorities, as well as some carefully distilled indiscretions that the big papers will come to beg of him. He plays both sides off against one another and becomes the chief orchestrator of the rumour. He wrote this letter in this very spot, and he has red ink on his fingers. Like you.
What exactly are you after, my friend?
You've been threatening a certain Squibby to distribute a telegram naming him as a possible suspect in these murders in revenge for an old feud. I would suggest you don't write this note, and that you leave Squibby alone.
I'd forgotten about the existence of that rapscallion. I threw that at him when I was visiting the station to get the dope. You should have seen his face.
You must also stop sending these letters that waste the authorities' precious time.
Right, well, I don't even know what you're talking about. I have a great relationship with the Bobbies. Just ask around. I don't have to answer to nobody. Now leave me alone.
So it's my Twink Watson from one game. I don't even know what. Just... That's the only conversation topic now. It's just
Farewell, sir.
Good riddance.
Boy, shots sound a bit like Maxwell. I don't know. Can I get one of the voice lines from him?
Hey, you wouldn't be the gas man that Bluto's looking for.
Don't know him.
That's a sign to leave.
Let's hurry to the police station, Watson. We are close to our goal. Squibby will be able to reveal what he knows about Tumblety. Squibby, so that's it. You're a free man again. We were just coming to the station to find you.
Shh. Yeah, the Bobbies agreed to let me go, and I came to see Bluto before ferreting you out. So, you've seen the newspaper man?
Yes, he is in the pub and everything is taken care of, but I'm waiting to hear what you have to say about Dr. Tumblety.
Okay, but we have to be quick. One night, I goes to see Bluto in his hideout that ain't far from the boarding house where this Tumblety bloke has a room. I see him coming in too. He must have been on one real binge. To the point, the Tumbleton fella was there, and he smiles at me, all nice like. He tells me he's a great Yankee doctor, but my business interests him. I'm interested, I tell him, but I'm not the type to just jump right in without getting to know a person, see? He invites me around to his room to talk business, just him and me. We empty a bottle or two, and all of a sudden, like, he wants to show me what he's got in this big trunk that he always carts around places. I just about vomited, see? In these jars, just like pickles, you know, there were pieces of meat. And he whispers that it's the lady bits of some old dames. He called them peckybins. I call them love killers, I would. Yuck. After that, he starts to go on about rich folk. They ain't nothing but dogs. And I'll tell you the worst of it. Then he comes all close to me and puts his sweaty hand on my leg. He was one of them types. Not me. I don't wait a second before I give him a good thrashing, and I start running and let go of him, and he still wants to see me again just to talk business. But then I had to do time, so business.
Do you know where he can be found?
Why, ain't he in his digs? Maybe he got to liking life behind bars too. I heard that in some jobs there's a way to.
Thank you for your information, and we'll meet again, my friend. Here is the sum I promised to get you out of London.
Ciao, fella. I've just got a little score to settle with Bluto, and I'm heading for the country.
The fuck's going on there?
Lipski!
My dear Watson, we must strike while the iron is hot. We have avoided meeting Dr. Tumbleton until now. The time has come to do so.
Do you have an opinion, Holmes?
We must assure ourselves that the factor collector of female organs and a murderer who removes said organs are resident in the same area at the
those
same
running
time
animations.
is nothing more than coincidence.
Oh, is that some really janky running animations? Is this a comedy game? No, that's the brilliant. That's the brilliant thing.
Bring
It's
me
not.
back your keys. Oh, it's you, Mr. Holmes. Good evening, Dr. Watson.
It's Speed Chase, but it does come back to the chase of the century.
Indeed, it is.
This is not meant to be a comedy game, but it is so fucking janky
Yes,
that it basically turns into
we
one.
spoke about. Shortly after your last visit here, some constables came and asked me a few questions regarding him. Barely had they left, and the doctor came barreling around a street corner and rushed up into his room upstairs. A little while afterwards, while I was tidying, I heard a thud in his room and a rush down the stairs. He left with most of his bags, but without returning his keys. You can go up and see if you wish. The door is still open.
Cheers. Seems like hello and welcome. Oh my. Go away. I don't like the look of you. What the? What? What do you mean missing some information? I can go up there. The door's open. Oh, wait there.
Careful, Watson. Do not walk around here until I've inspected these marks.
I know, Holmes, I know. I understand your methods.
Do not walk around here, he says, whilst he stood on the other side of... Oh, my God. After he's walked across and then says, now don't walk anymore. Jesus Christ.
Ah, you have your rule and magnifying glass. I thought that you had forgotten them, Holmes.
I never forget the essentials, my dear Watson. Size 13. Right foot, light trails. The man was running. Right foot, light trail.
Maybe pure evil and chaos. Can still taste the freaking last one. That could have been worse. Yeah, have your points back. Not like that sound was because he riding Gazouch. No, he was using a ruler. One of the old kind of ones, which is basically a wheelie reel to get back in. Get this sentence. Watson sounds like the type of man to go ape shit when there isn't his brand of milk. You've met Sherlock Holmes. Tell your brain. I don't think there's many more times that comes up. I mean, the fact that it's the very first time it's come up so far. Whoa. As Brenda's essentially your co-op. It's true. This isn't a patch round. Don't have any of those anymore, thankfully. Whoa.
I'm missing some information.
Ah, you have your rule and magnifying glass. I thought that you had forgotten them, Holmes.
I never forget the essentials, my dear Watson. This isn't water. Going by its sticky texture and odor, I'd say we're dealing with formalin. These are the footprints of a tall man who had recently stepped in formalin and who left this room in a hurry.
Well, can I walk on it and enter the room now, Holmes?
Going by its size, this enormous trunk must be a wardrobe. These brackets are rather unusual. What do you think, Watson?
Let's see, Holmes. These are the names of the battles from the American Civil War.
What? Not a fucking clue.
There are a few pieces of a large glass jar in this puddle. The man who left the footprints on the ground must have walked in it while fleeing.
Time for history lesson, Mount. To Google. Dear Francis, it is impossible for us to meet again. I am feeling terrible as pursuing our relationship further would put both my marriage and my reputation in danger. I must return to the life of love, fleeting and physical, in which a few coins to these young men assures corporal peace and anonymity. These growing feelings that I have for you make me scared, and I would prefer to shun this passion for the fear that it may never leave me. Perhaps we shall cross paths one day in a discreet location where like-minded men meet. I know that you frequent them regularly. You never hide yourself. For my part, I will spend more time with my wife and girls in order to find the serenity, and I hope to throw the veil of oblivion to her own passionate embraces. All the best, Charles.
This Dr. Tumblety seems to be attracted to men more than women. That much is clear. So, the doctor has a handgun, and he would use it to restrain young men, perhaps.
Let's go and actually have a look at that little document. I thought... What? Hey, some people are into it. My dear Francis, it is in putting aside our common past, and thus as a friend I am sending you these words. I've learned from some mutual friends of your recent trouble with the law. You should be more careful. England has nothing in common with the Wild West, but her seedy areas can be just as dangerous. Your attraction to young rogues will cost you dearly one of these days, whether it be at the end of an alley or on the benches of a jury. A man of your quality and fortune does not have to frequent the hovels and bring his pistol with him everywhere. It's not necessary to use violence to find partners, unless the violence pleases you. Certain circles that we used to frequent are still open to you. Take advantage of this healthy and respectable company rather than demeaning yourself with these destitute lads. And pray, get rid of that god-awful chess. Who knows what the people whom you show are bragging might think of and speak of it. The man you once loved, Henry. That's the difference between Americans and other people. Non-Americans barely any idea what happened in American history. An American has any idea what happened outside of it. I really wish that wasn't true, but it is. Look, some people like that kind of stuff, don't you? Shame. Exactly right. Some people like a bit of danger. Oh God, why? I just thought the Monster Hunt equivalent of that was, getting into bed with someone while holding a light bowgun to their head. The fuck? And now my brain just thought, what about Kezu one? Assume the position or I get the Kezu gun out. With the teeths. Basically, here's the history of the Civil War, but made insane. Basically, the Civil War was when the North and the South got pissy because of slavery that was used to hold the South's economy together, lazy shits, and because the North beat the shit out of the South, a lot of guns, gauze, sometimes lovemaking, and shitty guns created what we now know as the Civil War. That doesn't help with the fact that I need dates for it.
Yeah.
Give me a sec. I'm exploring. I'm sleuthing. Now my brain's imagining a gun that makes kazoo sounds. See, I don't actually... I know that apparently the kazoo has a very distinct roar, but all I can think of is just a kazoo. And now I really want them to make a mod which changes the kazoo's roar sounds into a kazoo. Which would be hilarious. This is why I don't make mods, because I'd be a menace if I did. Do not understand how you found yourself in this situation. Your passionate discussions on the legitimacy of this war should have convinced more than one. I still remember when you imitated him during that meeting. You struck that very characteristic pose and you exclaimed, "Vicksburg is the key. The war can never be brought to a close until the key is in our pocket." We all applauded. I'm sure that even Lincoln himself would have applauded. During these dark hours, it was rare to have the occasion to laugh. So many deaths, ending with our much-loved president, killed by this coward and left to join those of the victory at Gettysburg, who courageously felt so the next day the key would be in our pocket. What the fuck? Imagine a flamethrower just makes a kazoo sound when it fires. Oh, God. That's why you should make mods.
If this letter is addressed to him, it would appear our doctor is a veteran of the American Civil War. Vicksburg is the key. Now, that is interesting.
And now I've just got, you know the exact shape and model and what it looks like. The Kezu bow. So now I'm just waiting, with the dragon piercer where it flies out, just with a kazoo noise. I'm a menace. I'm a menace to sensible game design. Oh God, I'm a developer. Oh God, this is frightening. By the way, Mark, remember how you asked if Ed had broken Baldur's Gate yet? The answer is yes. For some reason, Bark's internal character super glowy. What the fuck? That's impressive.
Going by its size, this enormous trunk must be a wardrobe.
Here you go, Callie.
What seltzer's the first?
Oh, it was in 0205 1863.
Let's see. 5 latches, each fitted with a 6-number combination system.
2, 5, 63. And I have no fucking clue.
What is that supposed to be?
I don't know. You have all the information that I do at this point looking at it.
So click on that flag store.
The flag say. Two bits of the game video show from the initial base, how it's advanced. Okay.
But I know Fort Sumter's first, because that's the first thoughts of the Civil War. Right, Fort Sumter, and that's in South
Oh, so when you said the first, you meant the earlier state, not the first state that was listed?
Yes.
Right.
But it's not 1771.
That's the first date that's there, so I don't know. Oh, good
61.
God.
The 12461.
I'm just going to find a guide, because otherwise this is just going to take too long. Oh. PC definitely has an issue regarding the IRL video on Twitter, cause it to have major black box fragmentation. I worry one of the parts has fried themselves. It gets worse. I have to get looked at by a pro. Have you updated your graphics cards drivers again? Because there have been a new one released. I could put in 1971 or 1771. No, I put in 12/19/71. 12/19/71. Just Kane, arbitrary error on the body. Me Chapman, Wasp's Nest. Daughter reports. Chapman, it could possibly be motive. Hospital, heart puzzle. Wasp's Nest, pub, jewel slider, Bluto. Hideout, cage the snake. Sleek, Squibbear. Library, Baker Street perfumes, shop. Message wolfed outside the house. Still, there's all the glitchy houses. Windows. Box. Reporter. Oh, this isn't looking good. All the images have failed to load on this. Some of the dates, the aim of the puzzle stands the dates of the battles on the left side of the battle, the flags and the victor of what battle. When the correct date flying uniforms went to the battle, the right just pulled back. The dates in chronological order and the dates on the bottom includes went to the victor and key again. Yeah, it's not. Open image and new tab. That is not the image. That is very much not the image. Game FAQs never finishes. Oh, that's supposed to sleepy, right? Agreed. Take a look, I'm not really sure, but I do think I won't be able to do my own PC again. You only get better by doing it multiple times. It's what the American Day Citizen, birthplace of all problematic dating practices. Yeah. Probably comes from Alabama, plus all problematic. And here. Okay. Anyone going to game pressure now?
Alright, I got it.
Okay. That's solution picture. Apparently people are finding it faster than I am because all the sites I'm looking at don't have the fucking pictures.
Ready?
Oh my good god, I've got 3 people who've got the result. Go for it, Callie.
120461.
Okay, yeah.
It's the Confederate flag, and then the gray cap with what looks like a yellow cross over it.
That's it, yeah. And Titan?
And Tetum.
And Titan. Game pressure, yeah, because games.
170962.
Yep.
It's going to be a blue cat.
Yep.
And then
Got it.
It's a weird ass.
Yeah, I got it. Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
It tells if I know one of those two pictures and the date, then I can find out the other picture. Chancellorsville.
20563.
Yep. Yep.
Star.
Yep.
Yeah. And then the regular
Got it. Gettysburg.
Gettysburg 030763.
Yep.
Green cap.
Oh, got it.
And then the weird. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, what happened?
And then 040763.
0407 63. Yep.
Blue cowboy hat.
Yep.
Elementary.
Got it. And it's lost its textures. Jesus Christ, I don't even need to try to break this game.
This is dreadful, Holmes. This trunk contains 4 jars in which organs are floating.
Watson, can you tell me at a glance what these organs are?
I would say that they are parts of female reproductive organs.
Are these specimens fresh?
No, and I am quite certain of it. From the colour and appearance, I'd say these organs have been in these jars for several months, if not years.
Let's
Also,
go
I
to
should show
Baker
that this was
Street.
Google.
Is there
hello,
someone here?
welcome.
Yes.
What? There's nothing there. Where though? Oh no.
What's going on, Finley? You seem to be in a panic.
The
Two
Bobbies.
police officers wanted to know if someone suspicious had entered here. The Whitechapel killer has struck again, and if I understood correctly, he killed 2 women in the past few hours.
Where?
I don't know. The police didn't tell me
You
anything.
should say they're
Quick,
wholesale.
Holmes. We must catch up with them.
Certainly not, Watson. Mr. Finley,
Jesus
do you know if
Christ,
the doctor had
Scoop.
any other pieces of luggage up there apart from this trunk?
Wow.
1 or 2, I think.
Do you take care of the
Wow.
doctor's laundry?
My wife does laundry for the tenants once a week. The sheets likewise.
Would you be kind enough to let us know as soon as possible if the doctor shows up again?
Certainly. I'm just worried that he won't be back, you see, and I'm annoyed about my keys.
Holmes, I don't follow. The Whitechapel killer is, at this very moment, very close by, and we are just staying put, twiddling our thumbs.
The Whitechapel killer has always been nearby, and what will we do? Go back to the scene of the crime or crimes and mix with the onlookers and trample the crime scenes even more? No, our time will come. Let's return to Baker
That light is
Street.
clipping through his cape.
Let's go back to Baker Street. Home, sweet home.
I love how it
We
exited
were less
the
than
conversation
200
as if it
feet
was,
away
you
from
know,
the first
reminding me
victim a
what
few
to, and they
minutes
just takes me
before
there
she was
anyway.
murdered. We might even have heard the
My friend
murderer's
asked me last
voice.
week why I didn't keep my
And we haven't
luggage
done a
in
thing
the
for the
jar.
past week.
You're the one not doing anything, Watson. For my part, I have been working, and as you know,
God.
I've made good
You want
use
to learn to
of
play the
this
tuba,
week
I
by
suppose.
tracking down and verifying all of the solid facts on these 2 murders to write up the notes that are on my desk, read them over again, and try to gain a bit of perspective.
This game from 2009. Believe so, yeah. Note on the murder of Liz Stride at Datfield's Yard. Concerned information I have collected must be verified. Liz Stride, nickname Long Liz, 45 years old, height 5'5". Occasional prostitute. She lived for the past 3 years in a stormy relationship with a certain Kidney. Who the fuck calls himself Kidney? A waterside labourer, 36 years of age, whom she left a few days earlier. She charged him with assault but failed to appear in court as the case was thrown out. The victim was discovered dead by one Louis Diemschutz at 1 o'clock in the morning on September 30th. The man's first thought was to verify if his wife in the building next door was still alive before sounding the alarm. The 2 doctors who came at the police's request to the scene of the crime in the moments after the discovery of the corpse put the time of death after 12:46 a.m. Cause of death, hemorrhage due to a throat injury. The weapon was a small knife with a large blunt edge. The verification of his statement is necessary could this wound have been caused by another tool. Neither the body nor the clothes were damaged, soiled, or disturbed by the killer. The right hand was open, stained with blood and resting on the chest. The left hand was on the ground, partially closed, holding a packet of pastils. Pastils. The location of discovery was a courtyard called Dutfield's Yard, whose doors lead onto Burner Street in Whitechapel. The victim was found stretched out on the ground a few inches from the wall of one of the buildings served by the courtyard, the International Working Men's Club. The association, composed mainly of Jews originating from Russia and Poland, were organising a conference that night on the subject "Why Should Jews Be Socialists?", presided by Mr. Morris Eagle. The meeting ended around 11:30 p.m, but many members remained to debate and sing within the premises of the association. An American president that evening declared to have been in the courtyard at 12:20 a.m. and went into the street and didn't see anything unusual. He then returned back inside of the club, but his estimation of time spent outside is approximate at best. Two witnesses were quoted by the press: Constable Smith, who was doing his rounds in the area on the night in question, and a Hungarian by the name of Schwartz, who has made his statement at the police station accompanied by an interpreter because he does not speak English. The transcription of these statements by the press should be treated with caution. It would be advisable, if at all possible, to consult the exact content. Observe the clothing worn by the victim as well as her possession at the time of the discovery of the body. Clothing: long black cloth jacket, fur trimmed around the bottom with a red rose and white maidenhair fern pinned to it. Black skirt, black crepe bonnet, check neck scarf knotted on the left side. Knotted. Dark brown velveteen bodice, two light serge petticoats. One white chemise. White stockings, spring-sided boots, two handkerchiefs, one is noticed to have fruit stains on it, a thimble, a piece of wool wound around a card. In the pocket of her left underskirt, a key, a small piece of a lead pencil, 6 large and 1 small buttons, a comb, a broken piece of a comb, a metal spoon, a hook, as from a dress, a piece of muslin, 1 or 2 pieces of paper. Note on the murder of Catherine Eddowes. Catherine Eddowes, 46-year-old, height 5 foot, occasional prostitute. So small. She had a regular relationship for 7 years with one John Kelly, a man of no regular employment and about the same age as the victim. The victim was found dead at 1:44 a.m. on September the 30th by P.C. Watkins, who was on his rounds. He secured the area by calling to the watchman of the warehouse located some feet from the crime scene. According to the doctor who arrived on the scene at 2:18 a.m, the victim had been dead for just a half hour. Unlikely, but we know from experience how hard it is to precisely establish the time of death when the corpse has been very mistreated. What brain, why? Cause of death: hemorrhage due to a throat wound. The medical examiner also confirms that additionally the extractions committed on the corpse were done post-mortem by a right-handed man possessing a long-bladed knife. The victim was subject to numerous mutilations. The victim was found stretched out in a dark corner of Meter Square, a notorious meeting spot for prostitutes and their clients because of its remote, poorly lit location. Should be noted that the victim was freed from the Bishopsgate Street police drunk tank at 1 o'clock in the morning. Meter Square was visited at 1:30 a.m. by PC Watkins coming from Meter Square, and at 1:42 a.m. by PC Harvey coming from Church Passage. The two police constables didn't see anything suspicious in the area, but it should be noted that PC Harvey didn't enter into the Meter Square, unlike PC Watkins. The watchman who came to lend a hat to Watkins at the time of the discovery of the body has been awoken during the time of the crime. His door was located a few feet from the spot where the victim was dying and didn't hear anything until the police's call. Firstly, we must note that the clothing worn by Catherine Eddowes are very uncharacteristic. I think in particular the patterned green chintz skirt as well as the white men's vest. A few of her possessions, including the thimble, were found around the corpse. The white apron was found on the corpse with a part missing, thus the missing part, previously re-sewn, thus the element showing authenticity, was found at 2:55 a.m. on the night of the murder by PC Alfred Long, who states that the object wasn't there at his preceding patrol of 2:20 a.m. The piece of bloody apron was found in the entrance hall leading to the stairs of 108 to 119 Wentworth model dwellings on Goulston Street. At the right of the entrance, just above the apron, was found the following inscription in chalk: "The Jaws are not the men that will be blamed for nothing." The Jews are not the men that will be blamed for nothing. The Wentworth model dwellings building being almost exclusively occupied by Israelites and Goulston Street being the site of a very popular, much frequented market. He decided to erase the inscription before the day broke. Kate Eddowes' belongings, wearing at the time of her murder: black straw bonnet trimmed in green and black velvet with black beads, black strings worn tied to the head, black closed jacket trimmed around the collar and cuffs with imitation fur and around the pockets in black silk braid and fur, large metal buttons, dark green chintz skirt, 3 flounces, 3 brown button on waistland. The skirt is patterned with Michela's daisies and golden lilies. Man's white vest matching buttons down front, brown linsey bodice, black velvet collar with brown buttons down front. Grey stuffed petticoats with white waistband, very old green alpaca skirt. Alpaca my bags. Worn as undergarment, very old raggedy blue skirt with red flounces, light twirl lining, worn as undergarment. White calico chemise. Pair of men's lace-up boots, mohair laces, right boot repaired with red thread, 1 piece of red gauze silk worn as a neckerchief, 1 large white pocket handkerchief, 1 large white cotton handkerchief with red and white bird's eye border, 2 unbleached calico pockets, tape strings, 1 blue stripe, bed, ticking pockets, brown ribbed knee stockings darned with white cotton, possessions, 2 small blue bags, 2 short black clay pipes, 1 tin box containing tea, 1 tin box containing sugar, 1 tin matchbox empty, 12 pieces white rag, 1 piece coarse linen white, 1 piece of blue and white shirting, 3 cornered, 1 piece red flower with pins and needles, 6 pieces soap, 1 small tooth comb, 1 white handle tape knife, 1 metal spoon, 1 red leather cigarette case with white metal fittings, 1 ball hemp, 1 piece of old white apron with repair, several buttons and a thimble, mustard tin containing 2 pawn tickets, 1 in the name of Emily Burrell, 52 Whites Road, dated August 31st, 9 dinar for a man's flannel shirt. The other is in the name of Jane Kelly of 6 Dorset Street and dated September 28th. 2 shillings for a pair of men's boots. Both addresses are false. Printed handbill, portion of pair of spectacles, 1 red mitten.
I have read and
Jesus.
reread them, but give me
Goes to
something to do then.
Mulaku.
A task where I can get stuck in, because
So much
Find me a
yeah.
slaughterhouse that will give us exclusive use of its block for an hour. And find me, in your opinion, which common animal shares the most characteristics with humans from a physiological point of view?
Pig?
I don't even know why I asked that question. Pray, find a dozen fresh pig's heads, Watson. Not big heads, I prefer small ones.
Sows?
That's it, Watson. As soon as you have done that, let me know. I request that you search in Whitechapel. Who knows? Perhaps you will learn something about where Dr. Tumblety may be hiding.
Sort of
There is also
I mean, to be
no
fair,
shortage
the
of
sort of thing back in the
slaughterhouses
Viking
and pig's
times.
heads in those parts.
He's not wrong. He's not. But I love Sherlock's examples. I don't even know why I asked. I need to control Dr. Watson.
You still haven't left, Watson?
Jesus, okay. Anywhere else I need to go? I didn't actually really pay attention to where I need to go. Search in Whitechapel. That's all I get. Cool. Just Whitechapel. Thanks. Road, Hanbury Street, Barnes Bookstore. Oh, that's it. Alright. Clinic. Well, let's go back to the brothel for one reason and one reason only.
What a ridiculous idea to have asked Holmes for something to do. Where on earth am I going to find what he wants? Perhaps that kind Lucy will be able to help me.
Out of the way, I don't like the look of you.
Never fails. Never fails. God.
Out of the way, I don't like the look of you.
Of course, yes, from around down the alleys. What can we give you? Gin. God, that's sick. Can't type tonight.
Good evening,
Who
Lucy.
needs it?
But is something wrong?
Good evening, Dr. Watson. Yes, it's my uncle. He's no longer with us.
Please accept my condolences, miss.
Thank you, Doctor. But why are you here? Can I help you?
That was a very weird noise to just happen all of a sudden. But also, those are my dialogue options. Butchers or murders. You fished.
It's one and the same thing, yeah?
My
Sort of,
request may sound wrong.
Yes, Fletcher's the
Stop
man.
clicking.
He was a regular client, owner of a little butcher's shop not far. But Miss Bella didn't want him to come, as long as he didn't treat his awful sickness.
Can you point to his shop on my map?
Certainly.
Anyone else is Twitch buffering every once in a while? I'm not dropping any frames, and my connection seems to be rather stable, so I don't know.
Do you know anything about the 2 latest murders?
Oh, goodness me, no. All the girls in the neighbourhood are terrified. Who will be next? That's what everyone is asking.
Goodbye, Lucy.
Until next time, perhaps, Doctor.
Ah, there's Fletcher's butcher shop. Closed due to illness. If the proprietor is ill, the butcher's block is probably not being used. Perhaps I can use it. Now, where could a sick butcher have got to? Yes, if Fletcher is ill, he should be here.
I don't even know.
Yes, if Fletcher is ill, he should be here.
Why did the gates shut like that? Yeah,
Good evening, Dr. Watson.
Good evening, Dr. Gibbons. I have come to see you because I was wondering if, by any chance, you happen to have a patient by the name of Fletcher, a butcher who would have relinquished his shop due to illness. An illness caught during nocturnal encounters, if you catch my drift.
Fletcher is one of the regulars at the clinic. Mercury treatment against syphilis. A night with Venus, a lifetime with Mercury. He left London a fortnight ago for the fresh country air. Why is he of interest to you?
Oh, no reason. I'm more interested in using his shop, only for an hour or so. Would he have left his keys with family in the area?
He has none left, but he must have left Hardiman, the cat's meat seller, to oversee his shop. They're in business. They're good friends.
Do you know where he can be found?
No, but wander around the neighbourhood and listen for his beep beeps. He often passes in front of the clinic. Besides...
Nighttime encounters.
It's me that you're looking for, sweetheart.
Not again.
Actually, no. I am looking for the cat food seller, Hardiman.
Hardiman? Poor Hardiman? It isn't quitting time for him yet. That gives me some time to wander the streets before he shows up, and with him all the cats hereabouts.
Where's the cats? We need cats. We do.
Do you know where he lives?
Sure. And for a copper, I might even tell you.
Here are a few coins.
You're too kind, Governor. Well, these days, I knows that he lives with his mammy on Hanbury Street, in the same place where Dark Annie bled to death.
Grim. I saw that glitch of her pose. I saw that.
Why do you call him poor Hardiman?
Bah!
Go away.
He's in grieving, of course. Just a few
Rocket
weeks
Fox.
ago, he lost his wife. And 3 months before that,
Thanks for coming,
his
Scoot.
girl.
Have yourself a good
fella.
evening.
He was in tatters. Even came to cry on my shoulder, believe it or not.
I'm surprised you understand human emotion enough.
Well, I must leave you. I must go to Hanbury Street.
I don't know where Hanbury Street is off the top of my head. I think it's somewhere around here.
Tell me, is it...
Nasty weather, eh?
What the fuck was that dialogue? So that's a commercial street, so it's not here. Thank you, hydration reminder, eh? If I can remember where anything is in this place. Horse. Hey, George. think it's inaccessible. Try. Don't know what street it's on, but yeah, I can go down it, so who knows? Sure.
Whitechapel Street.
I have to end up right back where I fucking started. This goes for a random quote and gets, has this name changed your stream? No.
Bucks Road.
So it's not that. I definitely never paid attention to where anything was. I'm not speaking that quote. Blame Lydia for that one's existence. So what's this?
Burner Street.
Burner Street. I'm not saying that quote that should be named either. It goes for random quoting and gets, stop pressuring your vagina, it's going to break. That's Final Fantasy 9.
Batty Street.
What can I say about the implications of that one? He's not leaning against anything.
Commercial Street.
I'm on Commercial Street right now.
Burner Street.
Burner Street over there. Yeah, but it doesn't have street names on it.
Burner Street.
Watson's broken again. This doesn't let me cross the bridge.
I have no reason to go that way.
So I do not know where it is.
I have no reason to go that way.
Oh, I've got no idea where the frick any of this is. I really don't. Just around here? I don't know. I already looked down there, that's not it. Would help supremely if I could remember where the first crime scene was. But I can't. In Whitechapel and Baker Street. Like.
This is the building in which poor Annie Chapman was killed.
Beep beep.
Thank you, Phoenix.
Beep beep.
I'm really not great with these kind of
Hello,
directions.
are you Mr. Hardiman?
Beep, beep. Yeah.
That's me.
I am Dr. Watson. I have come to see you about Fletcher's shop. I would like to use it for an hour or two.
Beep beep.
If you have the keys and your rates are reasonable.
Do you want to operate on someone in the butcher's?
Not at all. One of my friends needs it to prepare pig's heads.
Well, why not? Fletcher certainly wouldn't mind, but there's a problem.
What is the problem?
The problem? How so?
This morning, the neighbour above broke his key in the door. The old boy must have already had a drink.
So?
Well, I tried my best to unjam it with Fletcher's spare key, which is pretty thin, and bam, that one broke too.
Hard luck. But if you have the end of the broken key, perhaps it can be fixed.
It must still be upstairs. I didn't pick it up. Fletcher has a key too, so I didn't think it was a problem. Fancy, if I just had another key with a simpler blade, I could copy it. I'm great at odd jobs.
Fine, I will try to find all of that. Well, see you later then.
Goodbye,
his face
sir.
or the fact his hat just does not sit on his head properly. He said it was upstairs, but it doesn't... I don't think he's implying it's here. So...
I have no reason to go that way.
Okay, apparently not.
I have no reason to go that way.
Okay, so apparently it's still here. Oh, there we are. That door opened all the way and then flipped to being partially open, and Watson walked through it.
Oh, no. But what a... Oh, how dreadful. My word. These are innards.
The door is having a day.
Kebabs, the same as Hardiman's. So he prepares his meat here.
Blood.
Plentiful blood. Like, what is your problem, Watson? Yes, innards being made into cat food. What's the problem there?
Where can I find a key with a simpler blade? On a worthless door, perhaps?
I don't know, maybe...
Why in the Lord's name would I go there?
Well, I don't know, the dude's a landlord. Be serious.
This key was left inadvertently. Indeed, there is nothing terribly precious inside. But what a stench!
It's an outhouse, Watson. What do you expect? Watson got upset with that one. I know, right? A medical doctor is like, oh my god, innards! Yes, I'm pretty sure you've seen those while doing surgery. And, you know, during wartime as well. We'll use it to use a bit of Febreze.
Have you found everything I need to remake the key?
The key.
There you go. I think you'll manage with all of this.
I'm sure I will, sir. It won't take me long.
Say, I think there's some of your business upstairs.
Oh, you're right. I ain't had the time to sort it out. Sometimes I'm in such a hurry to prepare my meat that I forget to clean up.
But why do it in the stairwell?
Offal bleeds bucket loads, they do, as you've seen. Now, why would I do that in my own lodgings?
Ah,
good point.
Course. But what about your poor neighbours?
They owe it to me, all the times I've helped them out. And I don't have a shop either.
Say, you sell animal meat, isn't that right? Would you know where I could find a dozen small pig's heads?
The guy who gets me my offal should have some.
I'll pay your day's wages if you meet me at Fletcher's butcher shop in 2 hours with the pig's heads. Here's a little advance.
I'll do my best, Doctor.
The caretaker of another building told us that the place where your mother lives has a reputation for facilitating prostitutes' activities. Is that true?
Sure, the doors are never closed. They come through here like it's Paddington Station.
By the way, I heard about your loss. My condolences.
Ta, sir. I saw them die slow deaths. My little girl, her face was eaten by the disease.
Thank you, my friend, and please forgive me for bringing up such painful memories.
Go, I must do my rounds, and I will look for what you've asked for.
As for me, I will go and find Holmes, and we will go to the butcher's together. Let's return to Fletcher's butcher shop.
Your heads are on the block inside. Say, you wouldn't be the same chap who bought my whole load the other day.
It's possible, but if you want to continue to do business together, you mustn't speak of my presence in the area to anyone.
Don't worry, my lord. I'll be as quiet as a church mouse.
Please don't say anything about buying entire loads again. What the fuck? No.
Holmes, will you explain the reason and rhyme behind this masquerade?
Elementary. We shall conduct an experiment.
We're not going to be buying
answer a simple
Limp
question.
Biscuits.
Does the type of weapon used by the killer
Watson, why would you do that to the man no cook brain was I know, right? So this part was insanely glitchy on the Xbox 360 version. I'd like to give whole load. Yep.
And here are our sow's heads. Congratulations, Watson.
You're welcome, Holmes, but what do you really want to do? Take up a collection?
Yes.
There is nothing further to find in this room, Watson. However, I need some knives. Our only hope is behind this door. There is nothing further to find in this room, Watson. However, I need some knives. Our only hope is behind this door.
So why are you not opening the door then? Why are you doing that that dialogue line when I click the door?
There's nothing further to find in this room.
What the fuck?
I need something.
They make outrageous promises about buying something you never know when you may be dealing with a fae. True. Home sweet home. Mark the Welsh Dragon. I am not Welsh. Knife seems to solve everything. That actually worked.
There. This door is slightly raised.
I can't believe that the wife actually worked.
Find in this room.
Oh my god. You really need to have used a better voice line for that.
Blood. I need something. Elementary. While I prepare our experiment, could you find me 2 knives? A small one, somewhat larger than a pocket knife, with a large, sharp blade. We'll need it to separate the bones and to cut through the thick skins. Then find me a long knife that's at least 13 inches long, no shorter, that's sharp and has a thick blade.
Fine, Holmes, but I'd like to tell you about Hardiman. Do you know that he prepares his kebabs himself, and...
That he owns butcher's tools and uses offal? That's obvious, Watson. Pray, take my magnifying glass and my rule and get started, Watson. Find me these 2 knives.
Roll Dr. Watson. Does Dr. Watson control me? Oh, wait a minute. Torian, if you're still here watching,
a large knife.
Don't listen for a bit.
Size 13 inches.
Yep. What was the other one that you wanted? Small one, somewhat larger than a pocket knife with a large sharp blade. Needs to separate the bones and cut through the thick skins. So that one. Paring knife, yeah. Okay, I know what a paring knife is, or what it's actually used for.
Here are your knives, Holmes.
No, Watson.
Here are your knives. No, Watson. I won't attention now, listen. Sorry, Torian.
No, Holmes only needs 2 knives.
That's it. I think that's the paring knife. You're a paring knife. Your face is a paring knife. What? You didn't chat? No.
Here are your knives, Holmes.
No, Watson.
So that's one of the whatever I didn't click. Have you heard Ride Sway Twat before? Not on stream, no. Oh no. Oh no.
Here are your knives, Holmes.
No, Watson.
Well, that wasn't the right one. Try to one on the left of the small one. This one? Can't be worse than mine. I don't know, yours and Scoot's is equally as bad as each other's. And Callie's, to be honest.
Here are the knives you asked for. Be careful, they're awfully sharp. Holmes, I must say that this experiment is making me rather uneasy, comparing animal heads to these poor women.
You're right, Watson, but this somewhat shocking experiment may help to end this massacre and save other victims, you can be sure of that. Look, these pigs' heads are still bloody, which will suit our experiment perfectly. I have a pocket knife and a scalpel with me. With the 2 knives you just brought me, we have a similar array of weapons as those probably used by the killer. We saw
it's a little
3
bit of a
types
pocket
of
knife.
throat
In
wounds on the
fairness, a
deceased
pocket knife can be
attributed to this
multiple
man.
different sizes.
Those intended to slit the throat, those intended to decapitate, and the more superficial yet mortal wound that led to the death of the unfortunate victim in Dutfield's yard, Miss Stride. With the help of these 4 knives, we are going to try to recreate these wounds on the pigs' heads and see what we can establish about the weapon or weapons used. We may also be able to rule out Miss Stride as a victim of the killer of the other 3.
Oh yeah, this part absolutely broke on Xbox 360.
Let's try to use these weapons on this head to obtain a large deep wound to the throat, like those that were noted on 3 of the 4 victims.
One of my most common laws, they class 3 inches. They still vary.
This little knife is very sharp and has a very wide blade. This pocket knife is very sharp, but its blade is too thin.
Definitely not going to be a scalpel.
The wound is too shallow.
Honking great. Rah. Yeah.
Look, Watson, this knife easily penetrates the flesh.
Flesh.
Penetrate your flesh.
Flesh shall penetrate.
Let's try to decapitate our victim with these tools, knowing that the killer didn't quite manage to do it.
Charming.
Blood.
This knife with a long blade easily slices the flesh, but cannot dislocate the vertebrae.
That's quite possible, yeah.
With a scalpel, the wound is too shallow. The blade of this pocket knife is too thin to reach the vertebrae.
You look so happy.
Don't judge.
Watson, this little knife with a wide base can easily slice the vertebrae of our porcine friend.
He didn't quite manage it, though, so it can't be that one.
Let's see if these knives can inflict a mortal wound in a situation where a single quick blow is given. The scenario in question is that of Dutfield's yard.
That looks like
Look, Watson, the blade sinks easily into the flesh.
Flesh.
In using the cutting edge of this pocket knife's blade, I can scrape the skin. This particularly sharp blade can make a deep gash with one quick slice.
Knife won't cut anymore.
It cuts through the flesh easily as the blade is so sharp.
Oh. Okay. Oh, I've got to go and feed the cats anyway, so I'll be right back.
Justin's having a judge.
I return. Just 2 seconds. On 4, I say. I'm pretty sure it's 1 and 4, yeah. See, like, the thing is,
I know why it's not working.
okay.
Because you haven't checked them all.
Let's see if these knives can inflict a more...
Right.
Elementary.
Oh, right. Okay.
Let's try to decapitate our victim with these...
Yeah, I see. Oh.
Elementary.
Okay.
Let's try to use these weapons
Yeah,
on
so
this
high
head
plus
to
5
obtain
sleight of hand.
large, deep
The only
wounds
way I'm
to
going
the
first
throat,
check is I've done
like
that one.
those that were noted
Ain't
on
going
3
that
of the
one. Okay, my cat didn't hear the mention of being first, so I can go to bed.
Elementary.
So now it's boop.
No, Watson.
No, Watson.
That's it, Watson. The big knife.
It's
With
got
respect
blood
to the opinion
stains.
of the medical examiner,
It acquired blood
The
stains.
butcher's knife with a long blade would have caused the eviscerations on some of the victims. We can assume, Watson, that he only used this type of weapon as it is capable of inflicting all of the wounds displayed. Furthermore, the Dutfield's Yard murder remains attributable, for the moment, to the Whitechapel killer, if we are able to explain why the murderer used his knife in a different manner. Why not go there now? We will try to reenact the killer's actions that night. Our first objective will be to clarify, one way or another, the statements of
Watson's looking
Constable
like,
Smith,
why do we
as
have
well as
two
this
Holmes?
Hungarian by the name of Schwartz. We must also try to find out more about the International Working Men's Educational Club, underneath which the murder took place, perhaps at the Wasp's Nest.
Yes, let's go to Dutfield's Yard or wherever, but quickly. I am in urgent need of fresh air.
Gin. Let's go to the Wasp's
timing on
Nest.
that. Deductions. No. Conclusions. Oh. Boop. I have not been updating this as I've been going along. We respect the actions of the killer. We respect the actions of the killer. You're the victim, Watson. Isn't he always? Holmes, can we please leave the knife play at home? Holmes, can we leave the knife play at home? Watching you do all that stuff with the pig's head has made me hard. Didn't remember where it was. Wasp's Nest.
Don't forget the Bluto may still be hiding here. I will try to find out more inside. You, Watson, must intercept the policeman on his rounds. Given the hour and a bit of luck, it will be Smith. Try to get some information from him.
Understood, Holmes.
I think he's staring at the corner. Weird.
He's weird.
Hello.
I know you. You're Squibby's guardian angel. You weren't dressed the same last time, but I don't forget a face. No hard feelings, eh? Join me in a glass?
Amazingly, the only person who can actually tell Sherlock Holmes' disguises.
Your Jack the Ripper is on everyone's lips and written in all of the papers. You must be awfully proud of yourself. You have skill, that's for certain. It's a shame you use it to mask rather than discover the truth.
You better believe that I'm going to find out who it is. I got a hold of old Schwartz's interpreter. You know, the Hungarian who saw Liz Stride get it. Doesn't speak a word of English. And when he went round to the station, another Jew went along to interpret. I found that bloke, and he repeated everything that had been said at the station. It won't be long before I find these fellows.
Why do you say these fellows? Were there several of them?
Do you not read the papers, or what? Well, given the rubbish that you read sometimes. Let me explain. At 12:45 a.m., Schwartz goes down Berners Street towards Fairclough, on the side of the road where the Workers' Club is. A bit further from there, just near Dutfield Yard's wooden doors, a chap and a lady are arguing. The Star said that the bloke wanted to push the girl into Dutfield's yard, but the translator told me that Schwartz saw him pulling her towards the road. She doesn't want to follow. He grabs her by the shoulders and throws her to the ground. She falls a bit, but not too loudly. Old Schwartz is scared, crosses to the other side, but continues in the same direction. The bloke with the girl notices him and yells, "Lipsky!" At the same time, another bloke at the corner of Fairclough and Burnham, who's lighting his pipe, gets in on the action. He starts coming towards Schwartz in a menacing way, and Schwartz takes to his heels, doesn't see anything else. Once he finds out that a woman got herself killed, he went to testify, and identified Longley's Stride as the woman he saw getting thrown about. So there were definitely two blokes, mate. But why am I telling you all this?
In vino veritas. I'll take my leave then, Mr. Bulling.
That's right. Till next time.
A draft, my good man.
Why does he have the same face as Squibby?
Here, sir.
Tell me, was it not a mere stone's throw away from here that the Whitechapel killer struck last
Apparently.
week?
That'd be Jack the Ripper, that's his name. Slit the throat of a working girl in a small courtyard over there behind them big wooden doors.
Below the Workers' Club?
The very spot, below Lipsky and Co. I wouldn't be surprised if Jack was one of them, if you catch my drift.
Lipsky and Company. Do you mean to say that someone called Lipsky runs this club?
Nah, it's just that it's full of Jews. In Whitechapel, we call them all Lipskys, like that Lipsky who killed that girl in Batty Street last year.
Oh, really?
Last year, a Jew named Israel Lipsky killed a lass who was 6 months pregnant by making her drink acid. One trial and one protest by rabbis later, and he was hanging. By those who don't much like him, the Jews are called Lipskys.
Is the term Lipskys used to refer to the Jews in the area, and is this club frequented by Jews?
You got it. Socialist Jews, even. They spend their evenings hollering, singing. I've seen them spitting on the bosses.
Because that's not racist at all. Yeah, I know, right?
And you know the victim?
No more her than any other. The working girls don't drum up business too much in this street. They need a reason to end up here.
Very well. Goodbye.
Cheers.
First and foremost, I must find P.C. Smith.
Is that him?
Good evening, Constable.
Good evening, sir.
I am Dr. Watson. Would you happen to be P.C. Smith, the man who patrols this beat?
Why else would he be here?
And you work with the famous Sherlock Holmes, don't you? What can I do for you?
That's a haunted face.
I believe you were on duty the night when the murder took place here. You would certainly be able to confirm a few details, such as the time of death that the medical examiner gave.
It's just that I wasn't there when the body was discovered. I don't think I can help you.
But I was told that you had seen the victim that very night.
Indeed. But it was before the murder.
He's seen some things.
I saw her, not far from here. She was talking to a man.
Brain, why? Why did you immediately go to mating Kezus?
What did this man look like?
I only saw him from behind, really. He was wearing a short black outfit, a small felt hat like a cap in a dark colour, and a white collar. He seemed to be a respectable type. He was carrying a packet in his hand wrapped in newspaper, about 18 inches long and about 6 inches wide.
His outfit reminds me
Brain
of someone
immediately
that
went
I know.
to they honk
Was
like
he a
geese when
large
they're
man
mating.
on the older side?
I don't think so, no. Even though I only saw him from behind, I would say that he was barely 30 years old, or even less. Say 28, or even less. 26 years old, and 5 foot 8 inches tall at the very most. He had a small dark brown moustache and an olive complexion, I would say. But once again, I only caught a brief glimpse of his face in
SpongeBob, me
three-quarter
boy,
profile.
be quiet. You can hear the Kezus mating on the wind.
Nobody else saw this man?
I discussed this previously with Mr. Eagle, the president of the Workers' Club. That night he returned around 12:40 a.m. to the club. He used the passage through Dutfield's yard to get into the club.
I slapped him with my god rod.
He can attest that he didn't see anyone else in the passage at that time, but wasn't really paying attention to who else might have been in Burner Street itself. He was listening to the song coming from the club. In short, no one else saw him.
Well, thank you for having satisfied my curiosity, my friend.
A fine evening to you, Doctor.
I can just hear him, muttering under his breath as he walked off. Weirdo. I can trust Sherlock Holmes.
Well, Watson, let's go to Dutfield's yard.
Give me a location thing of there. No, it does not. This isn't it. Did say it was something to do with Burner Street, didn't I? Burner Street towards Fairclough. Burner Street. I don't remember where Burner Street is now. Needs to go through another random road and gets he come past.
Dutfield's yard. Your interrogation of P.C. Smith has proven to be very shrewd and of great interest. Thanks to the information I've managed to gather and that you were able to read in my notes in Baker Street, Watson, we can recreate what happened that fateful night.
No problem at all, Lee. Thanks for coming. As long as you see you later. Have a good sleep.
The site of Liz Stride's murder.
Okay, so midnight, the club meeting ends, so midnight.
The Socialist Club meeting ends. The members, mainly Jewish men, gradually begin to leave the club in little groups or alone.
12:20.
12:20 a.m. The American leaves the Socialists Club for some fresh air. The street is deserted. 12:30 to 12:35 a.m. Smith notices Liz Stride talking to the man with the package.
Not that package, brain.
12:40 a.m. Eagle, the president of the club, enters the Workers' Club via the passageway through Dutfield's yard. He passed through Dutfield's yard. If Liz Stride had already been killed, he would have had to walk over her.
My brain's always horny. It's my default state.
12:43 a.m. Israel Swartz passes by Dutfield's yard and witnesses the attack on Liz Stride.
I mean, it says packet in there as well.
12:44
KPS, what is it?
Schwartz crosses to the other side of the road. The attacker sees him and yells, Lipsky. The attacker must have shouted to his accomplice at the end of the road, Lipsky, indicating at Schwartz using his head in an attempt to scare off this undesirable.
I never retrieved Kipper from the last time I threw him earlier today. One moment. I'm going to retrieve him and then throw him again. What is it, Cape? Why are you doing your belly aching now? Oh, got a piece of shit on my mic. heated.
12:45 a.m., Schwartz runs away, followed for a short distance by this man. 1 a.m., Mr. Diemschutz wants to enter with his cart, but the pony refuses. We know that the murder took place between 12:45 and 1 a.m. Mr. Diemschutz, therefore, must have disturbed the killer. Let's place Liz Stride's murder on the timeline, Watson. 12:45 to 1 a.m., the murder of Liz Stride. It took place in this very spot, as the traces of blood were very confined. We will come back to this point in a few moments to elaborate on what could have happened. Well, we are still missing certain information in order to finish this investigation, Watson.
What about we look at the victim?
Watson, imagine the victim laid down there on the ground.
Honk.
Her left hand, it is closed around a bag of pastils. Her right hand, it is bloody, as is her wrist. The throat, there is but one clean cut, slightly slanted downwards. Her knees and dress, they are clean. The throat, there is but one clean cut, slightly. Her knees and dress, they are. The ground is muddy.
Hand. Liam's dirty. Victim didn't struggle on the ground. Just good lying down. Upright. It's the hydration reminder. Firm Kipper. Kipper, wherever you landed, you are the softest thing I've ever thrown. I'm sorry, but what's this? The murderer is strong. The murderer is weak. The murderer is a lumberjack. I'm sorry, but what? Ah, yes, the 3 states of strength. Strong, weak, and lumberjack. Yeah, but strong. Our throat is thin.
We have 2 possibilities. The first is that Liz Stride's killer and the attacker, seen by Schwartz, were one and the same man. The second is that Liz Stride meets a client. After some discussion, they head towards Dutfield's yard to do their business. As soon as they arrive, the attacker appears while his accomplice keeps watch. Schwartz's arrival dissuades the 2 men from lingering. They leave the area and leave Liz Stride in a tense state, but glad to have kept her client. He will be her murderer. Both hypotheses are possible, but an incongruous detail will serve to corroborate one of them. An incongruous detail that we were able to establish regarding the Hanbury Street murder. Which one would that be, Watson? Look at the victim carefully, Watson, and tell me the link between the murder of Liz Stride and those of Nichols and Chapman. No, that's not it. No, that's not it.
The bag of pastels, Holmes.
The bag of pastels. Indeed, Watson. If this woman had to defend herself against an attacker, why would she have held onto this bag in her hand? It didn't fall because this woman's hand tensed at the moment when she fell to the ground. Therefore, Watson, we know the killer distracted his victim's attention by making them take something out of their pockets. Why didn't he slit her throat like the others? He must have feared a struggle with this strong-willed woman. Why didn't he eviscerate her? Because Louis Diemschutz arrived.
Do you think the Whitechapel killer is behind this murder, Holmes?
Yes, and now this murder has been linked to its rightful perpetrator, it will take on deeper meaning when we have examined the facts from that night. Let's go to Mitre Square, where Catherine Eddowes was killed. And make haste, Watson, as we have another murder to commit in 40 minutes. Here we are, Watson, Mitre Square. It took us a mere 20 minutes to get here. If the killer left Dutfield's yard around 1 o'clock, as we assume, he would have arrived here at around 1:20 a.m.
What dialogue was that? We have another murder to commit in 40 minutes.
Body was discovered at 1:44 a.m. Catherine was released from prison around 1 o'clock, but we have no information as to what she could have been doing until her death.
That's phrasing.
This place has 3 possible ways out. Let's see where they lead. As a precaution, I brought an old map of the area with me. It will help us get our bearings.
Let's hurry, Holmes. This neighbourhood makes me ill at ease.
See, I remember when I first did this, I remember this area very, very vividly, mostly because I got the whole thing of like, we've got to do this in 40 minutes, and him saying it made me feel ill at ease. I thought, oh shit, the murderer's still here. Sherlock E. Jack the Ripper? I mean, I'm fairly certain that there is a Sherlock story out there where he's the actual perpetrator. As like, multiple personality stuff. If you didn't hear that, it's called The Last Sherlock Holmes Story from 1970.
Church Passage. It must be opposite the Imperial Club at 16 to 17 Duke Street. Let's go to the end of the... Hello, you must be Abraham Solomonovich, am I right?
Yes, that's me. But I know you. You brought a lad to my place to take care of a cat, and I loaned you my mask.
That's me. May I present?
Dr. Watson, of course. Delighted. And you? I have known for a few days that you are a detective by the name of Sherlock Holmes. Is that so?
You don't miss a thing, do you? It was the children who gave me away. Am I right?
They didn't want to, but I gained their confidence by offering them a small comb and half a cake.
They made a good deal out of it, so I don't blame them. However, I must request, as a personal favour, that you do not reveal my identity.
You have my word. Curiosity is just killing me, as you may have guessed. Would it be breaking an oath to confide in me the nature of the investigation that you are leading?
It's been some damn good cake, yeah.
Does this spot where we are now in Mitre Square mean anything to you?
A demon lives in this city, Mr. Holmes. These unmentionable acts degrade the human race and put the Jewish community in terrible danger.
Lots of rumours are circulating, but they are but rumours. I see you're leaving the Imperial Club. It's a stone's throw away from Mitre Square, and the 2 recent murders were most probably discussed in there. Do you know if anyone from the club saw or heard anything that night?
Yes, Mr. Holmes. That night, 3 members of our club saw a woman talking to a man at the very spot where we are standing, a few minutes before the body was found, at the end of this passage.
Fantastic, Holmes.
Calm yourself, Watson. There is nothing at the moment to suggest it was the victim. Can we meet these members?
I am afraid that won't be possible. As soon as the police heard the evidence of these men, they were sworn to silence.
I understand.
But you are working for the good, and I must tell you what I know. One of the 3 men, my friend Joseph, left that night with 2 other members of the Imperial Club, Harry and another Joseph.
2 Josephs.
It was around 1:35 a.m., perhaps a bit earlier, when Joseph...
Harry was flanked by 2 Josephs.
Sounds
like a...
But the other, the
sounds like a Chuck Tingle thing.
He saw a man and a woman in discussion at this very spot where we are.
These men must have been about 16 feet away from the couple.
That's about right. So Joseph, the butcher, said to the other 2, while pointing at the couple, "Look, I don't like going home alone when I see this kind of people here." My friend Joseph looked at them without noticing anything.
It hasn't, DJ. I'll get to it after this.
And didn't understand what he meant. They had the look of 2 rather unkempt people, but no more than that.
Right, just as up. Let's see. Machine Brain's been incredibly awful, just like today. I just did not want to play anything, thinking one of those hell nights. DJ, you're a really nice person. Like, you've been here, like, pretty much since I started this whole thing, and you've always been a very dedicated person. I don't think I've ever met anyone as dedicated to getting through a game, even if it pisses you off as much as you are. So yeah, you're definitely a very nice person, very dependable. And yeah, brains get like that at times, and if you need to take time to yourself or time to, you know, do anything to help yourself, then go for it. No one's going to think any less of you.
After the murder, did these 3 men tell the police what they had seen?
Not quite. Harry stated that he hadn't seen the
At least
couple.
you're not Jack the Ripper.
As for Joseph, the butcher, even though he was the one who commented on them and pointed them out, said that he couldn't remember anything except that the man was about 3 inches taller than the woman, who was 5 feet tall, no more. My friend Joseph, on the other hand, did his best to cooperate with the police.
And what did your friend Joseph say? What did this man and woman look like?
The man must have been 30 years old, about 5 foot 7 inches, light complexion, and a fair moustache. He wore a loose, dark jacket, a grey cap, and a red scarf around his neck. But he said that he only saw him for a brief instant, and it would be impossible to recognize him.
And the woman?
He only saw her from behind.
KPS.
She had her hand on the man's stomach and seemed to be pushing him. He said that he remembered that she was small, was wearing a black jacket and a black bonnet. After his testimony, the police took him to see the clothing of the deceased, and Joseph said that they looked identical to those of the woman he had seen. Like I already said, he only glanced at the 2, as he was headed with the others in the direction of Aldgate.
One final question. The Imperial Club is a Jewish club, isn't that correct?
Indeed.
Thank you for your help, Mr. Solomonovich.
Bah, it was nothing. We must at all cost prevent this demon from striking again, and the police seem to have some difficulty in doing that. I wish you the best of luck, Mr. Holmes.
This building is the Great Synagogue of London. Closed. Closed.
I had a vague notion of hope. Vague. It's there.
Blood.
Can't see a fucking thing here. Why is Watson not coming with me? That's actually kind of worrying that Watson's not with me. Well, we knew that. Tends to kill the atmosphere, whatever room we're in.
Now then, we will need a lantern.
Okay. Find lantern. Is that lantern? That's a lantern. Or I assume it is. It's something I can pick up at least. It might be a paint pot for all I know. It's a lantern. Watson, where the fuck did you just come from? Or is piss pot? I'm not trying to teleport through walls.
Now then, we will need a lantern.
That's a lantern. That is selected. If it's not there, then it's not selected. What? Where did I get those matches?
Take the lantern, Watson. Watson, we are now in the exact spot where poor Eddowes tragically ended her days.
This spot is very dark.
That is probably why our murderer chose it.
Closed.
Do these objects spread out by the victim remind us of anything, Watson?
Okay.
A thimble is located right beside one of the victim's hands, just like Chapman's sachet of pills and Stride's pastils. The inside of the thighs is clean. Once again, there were no sexual relations between the victim and her murderer.
Oh.
Part of this apron is missing. We will follow up on that shortly. The main incision goes from the sternum all the way down to the groin. The murderer opened this abdomen as if it were an animal carcass. A kidney was removed. The uterus was removed. These intestines were pulled out altogether to grant access to the abdomen.
Ew.
The head is turned towards the left. The murderer must have been on the right side of his victim. Let's look at her from the front.
Well, that's nightmare fuel.
The nose was cut. The eyelids were cut off. The cheeks were slashed to make them thinner. There is but one wound, Watson. It goes from the left side and descends in a slight oblique towards the right side.
Got your nose. World champion got your nose, player. Got your nose.
There is but one wound. The cheeks were slashed to make... The eyelids were cut off. The nose was cut. The cheeks were slashed to make them thin.
Usually it knocks me out of these things if I've found everything, but I don't feel like I have. Oh, wait, no, there we are.
My goodness, Holmes, it was a slaughter.
Understand, Watson, that our killer had neither the time nor the conditions to bother with the niceties. He had no more than 7 or 8 minutes at most to kill the woman, open her up, and all the while in total darkness.
Holmes, it's a woman, a poor victim you're talking about.
Consider all the time this man lost and the risks that he actually took by cutting the victim's face and the lower abdomen in around 20 precise spots, especially the lungs and the liver. These attacks, which I considered gratuitous, are in fact nothing of the sort, and have as much sense as the removal of the organs. We must, first and foremost, locate the 3 exits leading to Mitre Square, Watson.
Tamsty.
This is Mitre Street, from where Watkins, the constable who found the body, came.
Oh, he must have been bottling up for a while to come that far. As it's not an exit. That is...
This dark and narrow passage leads to St. James's Place. Watson, we must now consult our timeline. We began in Dutfield's yard, but this time we will try to recreate the actions of certain people. In this case, those of the 2 policemen.
Okay.
1:30 a.m. PC Watkins didn't see the corpse while on his rounds. If PC Watkins did his rounds properly, and there is no reason to doubt this was the case, as he discovered the corpse a quarter of an hour later, the murder hadn't yet taken place, and there was no one in Mitre Square, unless they were hidden among the shadows. Enter Mitre Square via Mitre Street, Watson, and stop and try to see me with the lantern. I will be where poor Edow's corpse was. Now then, we will need a lantern.
I see you, Holmes.
Perfect, Watson. Let's look at our timeline, Watson.
I don't even know.
Very good, Watson. Thus we can categorically state that the murder had not yet occurred at 1:30.
The tone in this game is all over the place.
1:35 a.m. A man and a woman are arguing at the entrance of Church Passage. The man came from Aldgate. 1:42 a.m. PC Harvey arrives in Mitre Square. It should be noted, Watson, that the constable didn't enter Mitre Square. He could not have seen the corpse lying on the ground. But would he have been able to see a man sitting or standing? Go to the Church Passage entrance, then come back and try to see me while holding your lantern. I will stay at the spot where the victim was discovered.
I see you, Holmes.
You had to proceed into the square in order to see me, something Harvey didn't do. It is possible that the killer was still there. 1:42 a.m. PC Harvey arrives at Mitre Square, but does not go in. The murderer may well have still been there. (1:44 a.m. The body is discovered. Let's put the murder of poor Eddowes on the timeline, Watson. 1:35 and 1:42 a.m. The murder would appear to have taken place between these times, that is to say, within 7 minutes.
Agreed, Holmes. But does this really prove that our killer had the time to perpetrate these 2 murders?
Let's look at our timeline, Watson. There, Watson. We are now certain that the murderer really had the time to commit these 2 murders.
Incredible.
Love the fact
Let's
that
look at our deduction board, Watson.
The silhouette of Holmes on the cutout thing for the timeline looks nothing like the Sherlock Holmes that we have here, because it's got the deerstalker cap. So you've been standing, the murder was fierce and instantaneous. Wounds the same guy that's outstride. Murder is right-handed. Same way. Same. Precision. Murder cut open something in a surgical manner. I don't know. Yeah, that's an animal. Piece of the abdomen cast out. It's very orderly. Murder is unfeeling and organised. Then was found beside the victim's right hand. Other thimble in her hand. Sometimes went saw incisions. Can you any further? New anatomy.
This spot is making me nauseous. Can we not head back, Holmes?
We certainly can't, Watson. We have one final.
So when I said that I knew there were two more victims to do, this is one of them. The other one we did was not.
A few steps away from here.
So I remember one more victim.
That's where we must go.
Ah, well there you go.
Let's go.
Because I very vividly remember Holmes's reaction to it.
Is deathly silent, which will permit us to carry out a fair few experiments. Let's find the entrance where the piece of the victim's apron and the mysterious chalk message were found. There's the spot where the apron and the message were found by PC Long. Now, let's recreate the scene. Remember, Watson, it was raining that night. Find me something with which to mimic raindrops hitting this wall while I write something with my chalk.
The Jews are not the men that will be blamed for nothing. But what does it mean?
Have you found something for us to pour water from, Watson?
Find a container and some water. Let me remind you that it's night time and the street is deserted, Holmes.
I didn't instigate conversation or anything like that. Sherlock basically reprimanded me for nothing.
I have no reason to go that way.
Sure you do, Watson. You're looking for something. On a barrel.
Water.
Oh my god, we've got another one to the list. Victorian.
Water. Water.
Oh god. Oh. Oh, there's a thing, there's a thing. Watson, there's a thing. What was that? What did you just do, Watson? Watson, what are you doing? Oh, there's a watering can up there.
A watering can. That's what I need. But I can't reach it.
You need something very long and very pointy and pokey. Oh, oh, there it is, there it is, there it is. Long, pointy, pokey thing. We're at the timestamp.
That may come in handy. Who knows?
Oh, yes, it may come in handy for exactly the thing that you're trying to do right now. It's weird how... Watson just ascended.
A watering can. That's what I need. But I can't reach it.
What this is for? The pole with the hook. What else do I need?
A watering can.
What else? Longer pole? I'll give you a longer pole.
I have no reason to go that way.
Appreciate the restraint, Tora. I know exactly what you were going for. Oh, there it is.
An old wooden pole. A merchant probably threw it out.
2 wooden poles. I love the fact that the animation is he just runs up there.
A watering can.
Need something to put them together with now. Dresden, buddy, you can stop sulking. You had outside time this morning.
That may come in handy. Who knows?
There we are. Large pole with a hook. Here's some duct tape. I don't think it was invented around this time. Who needs more? More! Boy, thought, yeah, this was like 60 years before then.
The Jews are not the men that will be blamed for nothing.
Okay.
Yes, I have, Holmes.
What? Just, yes, I have, Holmes.
And so, Holmes?
Can I... Watson, have you broken this? I can't use this. What the fuck? I can't even go onto first person mode. Why? Why am I not allowed to go first person mode? Oh, now he walks out of the way.
If this message were written by the killer, then it would have been lying in this entrance for up to 35 minutes before being discovered.
Oh my God.
Let's find out in what state it must have been.
That's one of the easiest to say was 1945.
This message could not have withstood an entire night in the rain. During the investigations carried out on the night of the double murder, PC Hulse inspected the entrances of this street around 2:20 a.m. and confirmed to have seen nothing out of the ordinary. At 2:55 a.m., 35 minutes later, PC Long found Catherine Edow's piece of apron and the message in chalk. This message would not have withstood a whole night in the rain, as had I continued to water it for a little longer, I would certainly have erased it. It was written, therefore, at the moment when the piece of apron was dumped. This substantiates PC Hulse's statement, which stated he had seen neither of these during his rounds. After its discovery, it was guarded and protected from the rain, which was subsiding, which explains why it was still legible when it was erased at 5:30.
The fact that he continues his mouth movements is kind of unnerving.
Where was he? On the pavement or in the middle of the road?
In the middle of the road, Holmes, without a shadow of a doubt.
Good. You'll go down the street with your lantern as if you were a policeman on patrol, using Smith's position as a guide. As soon as you see the entrance where I used the watering can, tell me if you see anything.
Control Dr. Watson. What's off?
There, Holmes. From here, I can see something written.
Can you read it?
No.
Do you see the white rag, Watson?
I see something on the ground, but I'm not sure if it's what you were talking about.
PC Long, who found the piece of apron, was examining the interior of the entrances, and yet nobody would have predicted that this piece of material would be discovered on the very night of the murder by a policeman on patrol.
What are you trying to get at, Holmes?
Let's look at this message on the wall, Watson. The Jews are not the men that will be blamed for nothing. In other words, the Jews were possibly blamed for nothing, but that will no longer be the case. Reading this message naturally begs one question. What would that be, Watson?
Why?
Indeed, Watson, why? For what reason would one have the right to blame the Jews in the future? Remember, Liz Stride was killed near a club for socialist Jews, Edaus not far from a synagogue and the Imperial Club, and finally, this piece of apron dropped here. This building is occupied by Jewish families. The killer really did go out of his way to incriminate the Jews living in the area.
It's a bit obvious, Holmes.
Yes, but with the rumors, Watson, the author of this message would have received a response to his strategy.
You are right, Holmes. So perhaps it's a good thing this message was erased.
Whoever took the decision to do this is a man of great wisdom and courage. Let's return to Baker Street, Watson. I have some pipes to smoke to help me think more clearly.
Now his mouth wasn't even moving
Let's go
through
back to
that.
Baker Street. Home, sweet home.
No. No.
I had nightmares all night, Holmes. As for you, I bet you didn't get a wink of sleep, did you? It's this chalk message business, isn't it?
Among other things.
And this lunatic is still running free. If only we knew what he looked like.
But we do know, Watson. We have a fairly accurate description.
I must have missed an episode of your adventures, Holmes. Not only have I heard you discredit the value of our eyewitnesses, but the few descriptions we do have don't seem to correspond.
An inaccurate account can regain its value if we can discover why and to what extent the truth must be rewritten. We've learned a great many things tonight, and I'm able to tell you what our man looks like.
Really?
Yes, and we're going to need a few things, Watson. Find me 3 mannequins, my worker's costume, my 3 full wigs, one of your worn garments, yes, that can be used for the workman's outfit, and one of your old suits. Oh, and my deerstalker, the one I never wear, but everyone seems to think I wear day and night.
So wasn't there?
A wig. This will come in handy.
We're playing This is Sherlock Holmes versus Jack the Ripper. It is incredibly janky. And it's meant to be a lot more serious than it actually is. That's our next bone. It's the old dear boss. Ah.
Lud.
No, he's just opening and closing that drawer. Cool.
Closed.
It's just, it looks like there's an interactable there, really is not. I think that's everything.
We shall place
Yes.
our mannequins here, Watson.
Okay, there's only one of the mannequins I found. Oh god. That's just slightly unnerving. Reaches up to the ceiling and just pulls down something that was at eye height. I love it. Where is... I don't know what this thing is, but it looks like it's not supposed to be there. Can't be everything. Or it might be?
So, as for one of the murders, we have no witnesses whatsoever. As for the three other, we have at least one person who claims to have seen the victims talking to a man a few minutes before their death. Do you remember whom these would be, Watson?
Apply the height, the age, and the clothing to the mannequins, basing yourself on the three correct witnesses. Oh, God. Yes. That's definitely another one. Document as well, I think it was saying that. Okay, so those are definitely correct ones, but I'm still missing a piece of evidence here. It could either be a document or a conversation. Still inclined to think that it's a document. The right direction, around the Vesp. Maybe it's this. Well, yeah, it's definitely not the right one. It's gonna be that. Oh, that's not that. I think I'm gonna be brute forcing this. Nope. Right. Nope. Nope. Well, the very least I can get the other two right. So this one. "30 years old, 5'7".
There is an error, Watson. Let's reread Abraham's testimony.
"3 inches taller than the woman who's 5 feet tall no more." Oh, right, okay.
Indeed, Watson, that's the right size for Abraham's mannequin. The account given by Mr. Solomonovich's friend is incorrect in at least one point. The first Joseph said that the man was at least 5 foot 7 inches tall. The second Joseph said he was 3 inches taller than the victim, whom we know was 5 feet tall, which would suggest a height of 5 foot 3 inches. Don't forget that it was this second Joseph who attracted his friend's attention towards the couple on the other side of the road. We can assume he got a very good look at them.
Okay, so this one says... "26, 5'8". Small dark brown moustache and olive complexion. Dark. So, two unkempt people. Anything except the man was about 3 inches taller. First man must have been 30, light complexion, fair moustache, loose dark jacket, a grey cap, with scarf. Do not have the scarf. It's a grey cap.
There we are. Magnificent.
It's one done. Short black outfit, small felt hat like cap in a dark colour.
There we are. Magnificent.
Okay. Now I just need to find out what the third piece of evidence actually is. Do not know what. I actually do not know what I'm supposed to be looking for. Well, obviously, whatever it is going to be... Oh, God, it's just going to be age and height, isn't it? I'm more and more inclined to think that it's one of these. Set no. This old Minecraft did not take 2 residents to get a horse to get the game to sleep for nothing. Oh, shitting hell. That's awful. Gotta bring up a guide, because at this point it's just unbeknownst. Oh, not that one. October 9th. That is definitely not. What the fuck? Alright, there's a Hot Topics. God, this is really, really badly designed on mobile. Jen, hello and welcome. Good one's well, good HP and she's now. It's not a store? It was a Hot Topic. I was surprised to find out that Hot Topic's still open. It contains 31 pages. I really don't want to have to page through all of these, but apparently I'm going to have to. This answer says it's, not 9th of October. Come on, recognize I'm tapping you. Insights I feel like perhaps I apologize as well, so somehow bring the movie down. No, don't worry about it, Sean. Sorry that things are sucky right now. I'm trying to get through this. Good God, this guide is not optimized for mobile at all. That's got to be it. Baker Street, 9th of October. Where I am now. We're going to testimonies. Deliver all the items. Blah, 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 blah. That's the first one. Okay, so what's the first one? Testimony of E. Long. Okay. You.
Bravo, Watson. There are our 3 witnesses.
Okay. What does he say? Age at least 40 years old. A little too young with a woman. With whom he's just going to provide. So 40 years old, 5'3".
As for young P.C. Smith's account, he must have been mistaken about this person's real height. It is only an inch or 2 after all, and we can attribute the same height as the other 2.
So
there we are. Magnificent.
Don't even have a third mannequin. I need to find the third mannequin.
I have no reason to go that way.
See, it made it seem like, oh, I didn't need a third mannequin, but no, clearly I actually do. Right there. So I want to know why Watson had to, you know, grab up its head. Right. Where is that deerstalker then? Kind of does, and like I said, try to find a deerstalker in Blomwigs too. Try to find. No, it's not that one. So one's emotions I've been trying to hold back a while. It's one of those times when I feel broke, so I feel down because my sense all over the place right now. Ah. I understand that's entirely, and I'm sorry to hear it. That's the deerstalker. You know, you're welcome here as always, Shen.
Bravo, Watson. Our mannequins have been recreated based on the correct accounts. Now, Watson, let's see in what ways these statements differ and how the witnesses could have been mistaken. Let's look at these wigs and moustaches. Let's start by taking the first Joseph's testimony, who saw the man head-on in a well-lit spot and in which he noted fair hair. Now, let's consider the same person, but in the lighting and angle of the other two witnesses, in the darkness of night, with poor artificial lighting from above. Put out the light, Watson.
Click.
Thus, poor lighting and a backlit subject can affect our perception of shades and colours. The wigs from Abraham's mannequin took on the same colour as the other two. The three testimonies, therefore, don't contradict one another, and we can apply the same facial hair to all three mannequins.
It says all two mannequins
Turn
and
on the light,
subtitles.
Watson.
Okay.
Yes, I have, Holmes.
Well done, Watson. With regards to the murderer's hair, the three witnesses should agree on Abraham's testimony. As Joseph is the only one who saw our man in full light, his hair must therefore be fair. You see, Watson, it is hard to draw objective conclusions when one is an eyewitness to an event. This leads us to reconsider the various statements regarding the supposed age of the man. Even if you are face to face with someone,
Yeah, the Watson is the moron compared to Sherlock Holmes, sadly.
To what extent can you determine their exact age? And even more,
Watson is intelligent in his own way, and he's just been shown as a lackey in this one. But also, this game is just so
considering our
janky.
witnesses' statements, but always scientific flexibility.
Then the age range thanks to the tolerance of years and getting back to Sherlock Holmes. Tolerance of years 3 to 5. So 2 to 40 and 28. Wait, that's really doing it the wrong way.
Don't forget that, according to Abraham, the man was seen face-on from a few feet away by the first Joseph, who shouldn't be out by more than a few years. For Abraham's mannequin, we should allow
wait. Never mind. Tolerance of years, that's 3 to 5 years in each direction. Unless it is 22 to 38, and then it's 28 to 32. Alright. What was it meant to? 6. I do not understand what they're talking about with the tolerance of the years. It's very strange. I closed the guide as well. I really shouldn't have done that. I'm going to look in that dialogue so I can read his explanation again. Objective needed one assignments to an event. This is to reconsider the various symptoms concerning this age, and if you were to face to face with someone in full light in a period of several hours, let's say, can you determine their exact age, and even more so if you can observe them only a few seconds and or from behind. There's lots of flexibility when considering our witness statements, but always consider scientific flexibility. Oh, it's... Sure. It's 27.
Perfect, Watson.
There we are. Right. I was reading it over the first one, not there. So 26 is 10 each way. I want 9 each way, 8 and 7 each way. Cake. Cake is 11, Jesus. I mean, you know, being an adult, you can always decide to have cake.
There we are. Magnificent.
This one is again is 7, so we've already got in there. So this is 31, 32, and 33. This is 49, 48, and 47.
There we are. Magnificent.
Yes, I have.
Ooh, nice.
Now that we have fully considered the witness accounts, let's see to what extent they agree.
Oh,
if we apply the range of error for
why
each of
just
our
the
dummies,
random yes I
we can
have,
deduce
Holmes?
the age of our murderer as precisely as possible.
Still, that was said because I was too busy with my head exploding. Didn't actually record what he said. I don't know.
For Abraham's mannequin, we
I'm guessing 28 or 29? $30 is really the only thing that applies to all of these. I don't know, between 30 and 33. Well, or up to 35, because the lowest it can go is 16 from here. And the highest it can go is 50 from here. That's highest 16, 35. 35 is the oldest it can be. It's the only one that's all, the highest one that's across all three. I don't know. And the fact that it didn't record the actual bit of the dialogue that I needed to re-look over is really annoying. Oh no, look at the time. Can I? Yep, I can back out. Cool, we're gonna save and quit and just do this next week. Just, no, my brain's hurting. Oh, that was obtuse. But anyway, that is where I'm going to be ending things. Just get through all those requests. Refunding the points. There we go. Yeah, so I'm going to be ending things tonight. Thank you all very much for coming along and for your support. It's all greatly appreciated in whatever way you've chosen to show it. Next stream from me is going to be tomorrow, starting somewhere between 11 AM and 11:30 AM EST, which is 4 PM and 4:30 PM BST, where I'll be doing my subathon to celebrate 3 years of being an affiliate. Going to go for at least 24 hours and will be increased by donations that will be made clear at the time. But let's see, special shout outs. I know we've got at least some to go through. Special shout outs go to Mal for the 19 months of Prime resub. Thank you very much for that. Very generous of you. Glad to have you around. And to Red for the 29 months of Prime subscription. Thank you very much for that. Extremely generous of you. Very, very much appreciated. Yeah. So until then, though, thank you all very much for coming along, for your support. Until next time, have a good rest of your day, a good evening, a good night, a good morning, or a good afternoon, whatever time is for you. Until then, though, stay safe, stay amazing. See you later. Bye.